In a time of oppression and tyranny, one man rose to become a beacon of hope for his people. His story is one of divine revelation, miraculous signs, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Join us as we journey through the remarkable life of the prophet Moses, as portrayed in the Quran and in the holy books.
Moses' tale begins with a decree from the Pharaoh of Egypt, a decree that all Hebrew male infants must be killed at birth. Yet despite the Pharaoh's cruel edict, one child was destined to challenge his authority and lead his people to freedom. In the land of Egypt, a Hebrew woman named Jochebed gave birth to a son. Fearing for his life, she wove a sturdy basket out of reeds, carefully waterproofing it with tar and pitch. With tears in her eyes, she placed her precious baby boy inside the basket and set it afloat on the mighty Nile River.
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 20, verse 39, "And we inspired to Moses' mother, suckle him, but when you fear for him, cast him into the river, and do not fear and do not grieve. Indeed, we will return him to you and will make him one of the messengers." Jochebed's sacrifice and love for her son set in motion a chain of events that would shape the destiny of an entire nation. Her courage echoes through the ages, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, a mother's love can light the way.
But fate smiled upon Jochebed that day. As the basket floated downstream, it caught the attention of none other than Pharaoh's daughter, who was bathing in the river. Curious, she opened the basket and discovered the beautiful baby boy. Moved by compassion, she decided to adopt him as her own and named him Moses. Moses grew up surrounded by opulence and privilege within the palace walls. He received the finest education, learned the ways of Egyptian culture, and even held a position of authority. Despite this life of luxury, there was a restlessness within him. Perhaps it was the whispers of his true identity that tugged at his heart. Raised as an Egyptian prince, Moses grew up unaware of his true heritage. Yet his heart was always drawn to his people, the Hebrew slaves, whom he saw suffering under the tyranny of the Pharaoh. Moses entered a city during a time when its people were inattentive or distracted. He witnessed a fight between two men, one from the children of Israel and the other from the Egyptians. The man from the children of Israel called for help, seeking assistance against his enemy. Moses intervened and struck the Egyptian man, unintentionally causing his death. Moses immediately recognized that this act was influenced by Satan and expressed regret. He acknowledged that Satan had misled him into taking a life. Word of the incident reached Pharaoh, who was furious. Moses had committed a grave offense by taking the life of an Egyptian. Fearing for his safety, Moses fled Egypt and sought refuge in the land of Midian. In Midian, Moses encountered Jethro, a priest, and married his daughter Zipporah. He became a shepherd, tending to Jethro's flocks. These years in the wilderness were a time of reflection and transformation for Moses. He grappled with questions of identity, purpose, and faith. While tending sheep on Mount Sinai, Moses encountered the burning bush, an event that would change his life forever. God spoke to him from the flames, revealing his divine plan. Moses was to return to Egypt and lead the Hebrews out of slavery.
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 27, verse 9, "And has there come to you the news of Moses, when he saw a fire and said to his family, 'Stay here, indeed I have perceived a fire. Perhaps I can bring you a torch or find at the fire some guidance.'"
In this pivotal moment, Moses and Aaron faced the mighty ruler of Egypt, a man who held immense power over life and death. Pharaoh sat upon a magnificent throne, his regal attire emphasizing his divine status. His eyes, sharp and calculating. Moses, once an Egyptian prince, now stood as a representative of the oppressed Hebrews. His staff, a simple shepherd's crook, held hidden power. Aaron, his eloquent brother, supported him. His words would be their weapon against Pharaoh's obstinacy. Moses stepped forward, his heart pounding. His stuttering voice carried a weight beyond words. "Let my people go," he declared. Aaron, standing beside him, added emphasis. "The God of Israel commands it. Release the Hebrews from their chains."
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 7, verse 104, "And Moses said, 'O Pharaoh, Indeed, I am a messenger from the Lord of the worlds.
Pharaoh, however, remained obstinate, scoffed, dismissing their plea. He had seen many challengers before. "Who is this God you speak of?" refusing to heed Moses' warnings. Moses and Aaron knew they needed more than words. They unleashed a series of plagues: water turned to blood, frogs, gnats, and more. Each plague was a divine message: release the Israelites.
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 7, verse 130, and we certainly seized the people of Pharaoh with years of famine and a deficiency in fruits that perhaps they would be reminded. Finally, the 10th plague, the death of every Egyptian firstborn, shook Pharaoh's resolve. He relented, but only temporarily. As the Israelites fled, Pharaoh's army pursued.
The Hebrews, having fled Egypt, found themselves trapped between the vast expanse of the Red Sea and Pharaoh's relentless pursuit. Fear and desperation gripped their hearts. They had exchanged one form of bondage for another, the sea before them, the Egyptian army behind. Moses, guided by unwavering faith and divine purpose, stood at the water's edge. His staff, an ordinary shepherd's tool, held extraordinary power. With the weight of his people's hopes upon him, he raised the staff toward the turbulent waters. Suddenly, as if responding to Moses' command, the sea split apart. Walls of water rose on either side, revealing a dry path through the heart of the sea. Imagine the awe: the wind carrying the scent of salt, the seabed exposed.
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 26, verse 63, then we inspired to Moses, strike with your staff the sea, and it parted, and each portion was like a great towering mountain.
The Israelites, young and old, men and women, children and elders, walked through the parted waters. Their feet touched the ocean floor, yet they remained dry. The sea, held back by unseen hands, allowed them safe passage. Pharaoh's chariots thundered after them, driven by pride and rage. He saw the path through the sea and believed victory was within reach. But God's plan was not yet complete. As the last Hebrew stepped onto the opposite shore, Moses lowered his staff. The sea, no longer restrained, rushed back together. The Egyptian chariots were caught in the swirling currents. Horses reared, wheels spun futilely, and warriors cried out. Pharaoh's army was swallowed by the sea, an irreversible fate. Moses, exhausted yet triumphant, had led his people to safety. Their journey continued, but this moment would forever define their identity. In this convergence of elements, the staff, the sea, and unwavering belief, Moses became more than a leader. He became a vessel for the miraculous. Guided by Moses, the Israelites embarked on a journey through the desert, facing trials and tribulations along the way. Moses embarked on a journey up the rugged slopes of Mount Sinai. The mountain was shrouded in mist, its peak veiled from mortal eyes. Moses climbed higher, guided by a sense of awe and purpose. At the summit, Moses encountered a burning bush, an echo of his earlier encounter with God. The flames did not consume the bush. From within the fire, God spoke to Moses. His voice reverberated through the ages. "I am the Lord your God." God revealed the 10 Commandments, a covenant between him and his chosen people. These laws would govern their conduct and relationship. Carved into stone tablets, the commandments addressed reverence for God, ethical behavior, and communal harmony.
As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 7, verse 145, and we wrote for him on the tablets something of all things, instruction and explanation for all things, saying, take them with determination and order your people to take the best of it. I will show you the home of the defiantly disobedient.
The Israelites approached Aaron, Moses' brother, and asked him to create an idol, a golden calf. This request was a departure from God's commandments against idolatry. The golden calf likely drew inspiration from Egyptian and Canaanite religious practices. In Egypt, bulls were revered, and the calf represented strength and fertility. When Moses descended from the mountain, he witnessed the people dancing around the golden calf. His anger flared, and he shattered the stone tablets, the covenant with God, symbolizing the breach of faith.
Moses melted down the calf, pulverized it, and mixed it with water. The Israelites were made to drink this mixture, an ordeal to separate the faithful from the unfaithful. The first Israelite takes a hesitant sip. His face contorts in disgust, but he swallows it down. The line moves slowly. Some hesitate, others drink eagerly, but there are those who refused. It was an ancient test, a trial of loyalty and belief. For those who truly worshipped the one true God, the bitterness of the drink was a small sacrifice. For those who refused, it was a declaration of their allegiance to the golden calf and their rejection of God's commandments. And so, amidst the turmoil and doubt, the true believers emerged, ready to continue their journey, guided by the words of their prophet. Moses, the great leader, was not destined to enter the Promised Land himself, but his legacy lived on through his successor, Joshua, and through the enduring impact of his teachings. As mentioned in the Quran, he said, "O Moses, I have chosen you over the people with my messages and my words to you, so take what I have given you and be among the grateful." The story of Moses serves as a timeless reminder of the power of faith, perseverance, and the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of adversity. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like us and to subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos like this.